Hello, everyone. What the flip was that? Whew. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a movie reaction review. I'm your host, The Knight, and today we will be discussing if Godzilla x Kong is worth your time. And it is. Alright, good night, everyone. No, I'm just messing with you. There's more. So, Godzilla x Kong, non-spoiler review, was a fun watch. The monsters in it were epic, the fights were fantastic, and surprisingly, the humans were not annoying. Let me explain. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, most of the humans in recent monster movies have been garbage. They have been utter garbage. Either meatbags to try to push the story along, or just meatbags to get crushed by monsters. But, in this movie, they actually took the time and consideration to give them some decent character arc, which I'm gotta say, I'm really grateful for, because, oh my word, I was not going to go through another experience like that for Godzilla vs. Kong. Don't get me wrong, great movie, great fights, but man, those humans almost made me skip most of the movie. Now, it's not as good as the character development that was portrayed in Monarch Legacy of Monsters. However, they did at least handle the characters well enough to which you did not just want to skip their scenes every time they showed up on screen. They actually were pretty interesting. Now, again, this is a non-spoiler review, so I won't say anything about any of the major moments, who fights who, what characters go where. However, I will say a plus for this movie is a lot of monster fights. There are so many epic monster fights in this movie that they actually didn't show in the trailer. And let's be honest, those fights between giant monster kaijus are the whole reason that we go to these movies in the first place. Now, I'm meaning to sideswipe on the human characters or their actors and actresses. They did a great job, but that is why we go. And they delivered. There were so many good fights. Now, one thing I did notice in terms of audience reaction is some people were claiming that Godzilla was not in this movie as much as he should have been. And without any spoilers, I will say the main focus seemed to be on Kong for a majority of the movie, kind of like it was in Godzilla vs. Kong. However, I will say Godzilla, for the lack of screen time he has compared to Kong, he makes up for in quality and importance for the movie. Like, the way they used him was perfect for the story. And also, I kind of understand why they did make that choice, because if you think about it story-wise, Godzilla got a lot of screen time and a lot of character development in Godzilla King of the Monsters, whereas Kong, we still knew very little about him. We knew who he was, where he came from, but that's about it. So this movie, Godzilla x Kong, as well as Godzilla vs. Kong, used both of them to focus and round out Kong's character, who they want him to be, what position they want him to have in the movies going forward. And again, without spoiling anything, they do end up rounding out his character, and they do get him into a position in which I feel like Godzilla fans will see a lot more Godzilla in the next installment, because, well, let's be honest, unless they keep making up monsters, they're gonna have to start using a lot more of Godzilla's characters and Godzilla's enemies, and if they do that, they gotta focus more on Godzilla. So, that being said, Godzilla isn't in it as much as Kong is, but he's in it enough to which you are still entertained, you are still just enthralled by his presence, by his power, by his might. It is a movie that is still worth watching, even though he has a lack of screen time in comparison to someone like Kong. Now, my honest reaction, like bare minimum honest reaction to critiquing it and rating it, as a movie itself without connecting it to the MonsterVerse, it's kind of a 6 out of 10. Hear me out. Don't bring out the pitchforks. Don't listen. It's a 6 out of 10 because it was very predictable. Like, going into this movie, even starting to watch it, you could tell, not even by any subtle hints, where it's gonna go, what's gonna happen, how it's gonna play out. And that and the writing of the human characters, though they were better than others, were still not great. So I kind of, as its own movie, I'd say more like a 6 out of 10. As a MonsterVerse movie, where we honestly just go to see giant kaijus beat the living snot out of each other, it's an 8 out of 10. Because both the fights and the filming carried this. Like, I cannot describe to you how many beautiful shots are actually in this movie. Like, as someone who is trying to be an artist, I can't describe how much like fan art you're probably gonna see from this movie just based on how many good shots were in this film. Like, Kong's moments, Godzilla's moments, the fights, filming, and the body language character designs for these kaijus were just so freaking good as a MonsterVerse movie. All of that basically carried it to the point where I would rank it an 8 out of 10. That being all said, if you're wondering why I have this as an 8 out of 10, you are going to have to wait until I give this a full breakdown, because in order to understand why it's not like a higher like 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 MonsterVerse movie, I need to go into certain details of characters like Scar King and Shimu and Kong and Godzilla and the threat levels that each of them have. But like, going into that would basically spoil the movie, and I don't want to do that. I want people to go see this movie. I want people to react to it themselves, so that when I do a full breakdown, we could have a discussion about it in the comments section below, because I want people to interact with this. I want us to have fun with this. Now, for those of you who have seen the movie, I do want you to go down in the comments, and I do want you to give your honest review of it. Do it without spoiling it, though. So anyways, that'll be all for now. My full review on Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire will come out when the movie drops on DVD and streaming services. Until then, I actually will be starting to cover more MonsterVerse movies. I know this is the first review one I'm doing for it, but it's not a full review. So first movie we're doing, probably going to be Kong Skull Island, because I want to go in chronological order. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below too. If I should start there or with Godzilla 2014. Anyways, hope you all have a great day. Hope you all had a blessed day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.